capacity of Mr. N.V. Raghuram, and I am very pleased and deeply honored to have him today on TNC's platform. And before that, I would like to welcome all my participants and would like to pay my sincere thanks for joining us at the Nehru Center. And we would be delighted to listen today, Professor Raghuram. Before that, I would like to introduce Raghuramji. Basically, Raghuramji by profession is an engineer and a profound engineer. He qualified engineering in 1970, if I'm not wrong. And Professor Raghuram is influenced by, some of the gurus, Swami Prabhu Nanda of Muradabad and Swami Satya Narayana Shastri from Bangalore. From there, he changed his entire life and, converted him into a yoga expert. He is not even a yoga expert. He is the director nowadays, chief medical director for the Yoga Therapy and Research Center. He is very much associated with S. Vyasa, a deemed university of yoga in Bangalore, which is a very renowned university for us. And the bioprofile of Mr. N.V. Raghuram shows us that he has done extensive research work and presented her paper across the world. And on behalf of the S. Vyasa, Mr. Raghuram has signed many MOUs with several universities, including United States, Germany, Turkey. He has traveled and delivered his talks extensively throughout the world. And he has been associated socially with the organization called Disha in Bangalore, Youth for Seva India, and the entire profile can be seen through his, internet platform. I would definitely, once he just finish his talk, I would be delighted to share his bio profile through and coordinates by this platform. Before Raghuramji take this platform, I would like to request Mr. Amish Tripathi, the director of the Nehru Center by profession. Mr. Tripathi is the author. And if, sir, if you have joined, I would like to request to say a few words.
Thank you, Bridge. My namaste, pranams to all the elders present here, and Raghuram Rajanji. Thank you, Raghuramji. Thank you so much, sir, for that you have come, and your august presence has raised the stature of the Nehru Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I think one of the fundamental differences between our Indian approach to health and the Western approach is that the Western approach focuses too much just on curative, whereas the Indian approach, our Ayurveda approach, is holistic. We focus on wellness, on prevention as well, and only if who can control things. Ka vidhan hota hai, agar kabhi ho gaya to apada aa gayi, then we have curative solutions as well. But the entire approach of Ayurveda, of yoga, is to strengthen our own bodies, strengthen our immune system, so that we can prevent diseases from even finding a home in our body. And therefore, I think understanding yoga deeply is that much more important. It is not just about the asanas. It is about finding balance. The root of the word yoga is yuga, which is union with the divine. Pranayam, the chanting, meditation, dhyan, it all puts us into a healthier frame of reference, which can help us. And we are honored that such a renowned and respected yoga practitioner as Raghuramji is here from Vyas University to guide us and to help us. Thank you, Raghuram ji. आप हमारे लिए तो आप गुरु हैं, तो गुरु जी के सामने ज्यादा समय व्यर्थ नहीं किया जा सकता है. आप प्लीज श्री गणेश करें और हम सब आपको सुनने के लिए उत्सुक हैं. Please, you are mute.
Namaste to all of you.
Yes, that's what he's asking. Stop getting angry. That's what he's asking. I thought he's asking what are they to make it.
Okay, it's nice. Namaste to all of you. Welcome you all for this beautiful session. It's my honor to be able to present few ideas at this Nehru Center in London. You people are doing a great job, great work, not only for the people who are in London, but also for the whole of India, bringing the message of India to the Western world. It's an extraordinary, wonderful thing that you are doing. Amish ji, kind words, nice words that you said. I'm really honored by all these ideas that you have given, all these words that you have given. So International Day of Yoga is an exactly wonderful thing that has gone to the stage of world today by UNO. I tell you that there are several festivals given by several religions and several beliefs. Like for example, world knows now about Holi, about Diwali that is coming from India, and world practices what is called as the the Christmas and all these things coming from the Christian world, and also that world knows about the Ramadan, Muslim world. So like that, from religions that they have given some festivals to the world. Apart from that, there are festivals these days, special days we celebrate, that it is like a friendship day or maybe that diabetes day and things like that based on the health. See, all these things belong to one particular category of people, group of people and all that. But this yoga is something which cuts across all the age groups, all the boundaries and all other kinds of denominations. It belongs to universal. So therefore, this International Day of Yoga, it's a festival which belongs truly to the whole world. And that's one of the reasons why UNO, thanks to UNO for bringing it that. Any system, anything has to develop somewhere or the other. In the same way that yoga, it developed from India, so we should be proud of it, that it has come from that. But we also have to be humble, because in the sense that, because it comes from India, and then the world is now accepted yoga, therefore, it is the responsibility is on us to see that we can take the right message of yoga to the world. We cannot blame anybody else saying that somebody is doing in the name of yoga this or that, but it is our responsibility to carry the right message of yoga, and that's what is the effect. That is what is the effort of Swami Vivekananda Yoga Research Foundation and also Yoga Bharati, an international organization, to see that we'll take this right kind of message of yoga. So, and I'm in future, I'm thinking that this yoga should become like a worldwide kind of a phenomena, that everybody should accept this as a festival. Because there are three important principles that are involved in this International Day of Yoga. You see that in the logo, it has got peace, harmony, and health. In fact, these are the most important things that we require today in the world. Everybody, whether it is young or old and all that, it is there. And particularly that the title that is there, Yoga for Elderly People. And particularly this time, Yoga Day is also titled as Yoga at Home. It's such a beautiful, sweet word, yoga at home. And for that, we should thank COVID that has given us an opportunity so that we are at home. And then we do something which is the right thing when we are at home. And that's what is the idea of yoga that is given. In fact, there is one definition of yoga some author gives, is that yoga is a conscious journey of going back to home, a conscious journey of homecoming. That means you go back to yourself. The idea why that name yoga, a conscious journey of homecoming, it has come, is that deep inside our very nature itself is relax, peace, harmony. These are all the things which are there, our nature. And we have come away from our nature for some reason or the other, and getting back to that nature is what is yoga. In fact, the Yogacharya Patanjali has given us this as a definition in the beginning, that yoga is tatha drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. That means the practitioner will establish himself in his nature. And this particular yoga is coming in this culture right from the beginning of the creation itself. And only thing is that Patanjali has codified, given the codes of various formulae for that. It's like the way geometry has always been there. Euclid came and gave us the rules of geometry or the formulae for geometry. It's like that Patanjali is given the formula of yoga, but otherwise it's a part of this culture. A very extraordinary, wonderful thing. Like the way, but now today with all this research and development and all those things, we have established yoga is like a science, like any physics or chemistry or anything like that. As I said, that Euclid has developed geometry. Maybe that he is there in somewhere in Europe, but we don't say that it is European geometry. Geometry belongs to everybody. Similarly, Newton was in England and then he developed the law of gravity. We don't say that English has given the law of gravity or anything like that. It is the physics of everybody. It is the law of gravity for everybody. The same way that one day that yoga will also become a yoga of everybody that is there if we have taken it in the right spirit, take forward these ideas of yoga. So therefore, yoga becomes a very important tool for our mankind. There's another important idea that I would like to give is that you refer to about Ayurveda and all those things. In fact, for the last 40 years, World Health Organization has been trying to impress upon people that health is not absence of sickness. It's a positive well-being at the physical, mental, social, and spiritual level. So that means to say positive well-being. By giving the definition, the whole purpose of World Health Organization is to take your attention from the health focused on the sickness to focus on the wellness. This focus has to be changed. Therefore, that they have given the definition almost like 30-40 years ago, that yoga is not absence of, it's not even sickness or fighting the sickness, not even absence of sickness, but it's a positive well-being at all these levels. And we all have that positive well-being to start with. So health and wellness is our own nature. This is what Ayurveda says. But we have come away from our nature. In fact, Ayurveda very beautifully says that we don't fight the sickness. Actually, we improve the health so that health will take care of sickness. At any point of time, you see that there are so many viruses, so many things that are there around you. But the amount of wellness is so much within us. Therefore, that will take care of all those things. Some weather change, some this thing, some that thing immediately changes the whole chemistry outside. But in spite of all those things, we can resist all that because we have the proportion of health which is high. That is our own nature. And in a simple sense also, we say that health does not have to come from outside. It's our own nature. Sickness comes from outside. That means to say, health does not require any reason. Sickness has to have a reason. I'm not saying anything very strange or utopian language. It's a very simple language. If you meet somebody and ask that person, how are you doing? And that person says, I'm fine. Then you don't ask that person, oh my God, why are you fine? To be fine is our own nature. You don't require any reason to be fine. Whereas if you ask anybody, how are you doing? And he says that, my health is not all right these days. I have some cold or cough or this and that. Then immediately you ask the question that why do you have that? Immediately that person says that yesterday I was stranded in the street and then I got wet in the rain. Therefore, I caught cold. So that means to say sickness has to have a reason. How are you doing? And that person says, I'm not doing well because I have a lot of stomach upset and disturbance. Then there should be a reason for that. Why do you have stomach upset? And he says, yesterday I went to a party. Yeah, now you don't have to say anymore. Therefore, basically, sickness has to have a reason. Health is our own nature. At every part of, and the way that Indian philosophy looks at human being is not just only physical body. He is a holistic personality. At the gross level, we are the physical body. Deep inside, at the innermost core, we are the consciousness. This is something which is extraordinary contribution of Indian philosophy to say that human being is an extraordinary degree of complex personality. At the gross level, we are the body. Deep inside, our very nature itself is bliss, Anandamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha is the external-most body, that is the physical body, and Anandamaya Kosha is the innermost personality, bliss personality. And very interesting thing is that every child is born at the Anandamaya Kosha level. That's why children, you see that they smile. A simple sign of happiness is to have a smile in the face. They simply smile. There is no question of any inhibitions are that. Whereas, as we have grown up, then we have come away from our nature and we identify ourselves at the body level more and more, and less that we are identified with the bliss level. As I said, to smile, that's the only sign of blissful state within us. Look at the children, always happy, they smile and all those things. An adult smile, then you will have to think of it. There must be some reason behind it. But the child, it's a natural smile. That's the reason why children are so attractive. They are in the blissful state. And at every personality level, we have come away from our nature. Like at the body level, our nature was to be relaxed. Look at the children. They're always relaxed. Walk relaxed, run relaxed, fall relaxed. Even while falling, they don't have any tension. Whereas we were also like that when we were children. But as we have grown up, as the time passed, we became tense. Joints are tense, muscles are tight, and body is completely tight. So therefore, we have come away from our nature called as relaxation in the form of tension. And therefore, we are away from our nature. People who come for yoga class, they say, come on, bend forward, touch your toes, padastasana. So, oh, I can't bend down, my back is tight, my neck is tight, and this tight and that. Why this tension? We unnecessarily gathered all those things and kept with us. Similarly, at the prana level, our nature was to be slow. Look at the children. They are never in a hurry. They slowly, at their own pace, at their own leisure, they do it. Mother takes a child into the bathroom and then he is happily playing there. Mother shouts 10 times, come out fast. No child comes out fast. So that is what the children are. That's what we were. And then slowly, speed is the way that we have come away from our nature. The world demanded so much speed on us that speed has become our way of life. Mind, calm state of mind was our nature. Children are never worried. Whereas as we have grown up, various problems, various issues, we are agitated, we are worried. And if there is nothing to worry about, we sit down and worry, am I forgetting something? I'm not worrying about something. See, that itself become another worry. So we come away from our nature. Like that, we have so many wrong notions, fixations at the intellect level. That's how we come away from our nature. So at all these personality level, we come away from our nature. That's what Patanjali says in Yoga Sutras. Vritti takes you away from your nature and Vritti Nirodha gives you yoga. Tatha drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. That means to say, come back to your nature. At body level, tension is the way we have come away from our nature. Relaxation is the way that you go back to your nature. That is what is the definition of asana according to Patanjali. Patanjali gives the definition, sthira sukham asanam. We all know, people who are familiar with the Indian idea, sukha means relaxation. So a relaxation is the nature of ours. Going back to conscious way of relaxation at the body level is the asana. The posture, what we call it as asana, is defined by Patanjali in yoga, is that sthira sukham asanam. Relaxation is the way that you go back, is the essential key of the asanas. Similarly, at the prana level, our nature was to be slowed down. Shwasa prachvasa gatir vichcheda. Gati means speed, vichcheda, cut down the speed. That's what is pranayama. A calm state of mind is what is meditation. So by this practices of yoga, all the different practices of yoga will take us back to our own nature called as the bliss, peaceful personality. So that is the reason why I gave the idea earlier that yoga means a conscious journey of homecoming. Otherwise, we are tense at the body level, we are fast at the prana level, and we are agitated at the mind level. And all those things, when percolate into our system, that becomes a sickness. So in Sanskrit, we have in Indian culture that we know very well that health is known as swastha. Swa means self, stha means being. When I'm in myself, that's what is health. When I'm away from myself, that's what is sickness. So therefore, basically, the practice of yoga is a conscious journey from outside to inside, from vritti to nirodha. That is what is yoga. So therefore, yoga It's a conscious journey towards homecoming. That's what is our health. So when you are relaxed, when you are calm, when you are peaceful, that's the moment that when you are at your own state and you see that your health is much better, memory is much better, your whole performance will be much better when you are at your own nature. That's what coming back to your nature. Now what happens is that deep inside at the bliss personality, our nature was to be in harmony. In fact, look at the whole creation. Everything is in the natural and everything is in harmony. Look at a plant, the roots in the soil and the flowers and the foliage and the sky, they're in such wonderful harmony. The roots have never seen what's happening in the sky. The flowers and foliage do not know where the wealth is coming from, where the juice is coming from. But there is such a wonderful harmony. That harmony is the health of the plant. Similarly, when you take an orange fruit, the bitter seed inside and the wonderful sweet fruit outside, born together, grow to the fullness together, seed will not disturb the fruit, fruit will not disturb the seed. They are in such wonderful harmony. That harmony is the health of that particular fruit. And this is what you see in the nature. Everywhere is this kind of a harmony. And the same kind of harmony exists within us also when we are born. But as we have grown up, we have lost that harmony, we have come away from that harmony. A simple harmony we could think of is hunger and food. Hunger and food, these are supposed to be in a wonderful harmony. But unfortunately, that we are so much far away from that. Today we eat food, not because the food is, we are hungry, but not because that the food looks nice, or it is something which is a rare dish, or how can I deny it even the host is offering me. All other reasons that we eat, not because that we are hungry, we create this disharmony. A simple harmony we could think of at our level is that when you are exhausted, you sleep. There is no energy, you sleep. The exhaustion and the sleep, they are in much wonderful harmony. But as we have come away from that nature today, we are tired, we feel like sleeping, we need sleep, lie down in the bed, but sleep does not happen. Insomnia. We have come away from our nature. So therefore, basically, that all these personality level, we see that we have come away from our nature. When you go back to your nature, that's when you set up a harmony within you. Harmony between your body and mind, harmony between your emotions and intellect, harmony between your energy inside and the expenditure of energy that you are doing. Once we have developed this harmony within, from inside, it is that harmony which speaks to the world outside. Whatever that is there inside, we bring in the same thing which is there outside. When there is a harmony, we are blissful inside. Therefore, once we have bliss, that's exactly the what that we bring it outside, the happiness. So such a person who practiced himself to be at home, that means to say himself to be in harmony and also in health. And third is that in blissful state and happiness. And that same thing that he can give to the world outside. World needs that kind of a message, particularly today when the world is torn because in the name of religion we are fighting the wars and so much of terrorism, so much of killing that is happening. In this juncture, the world is looking for some message, an authentic message which comes as a harmony at all these personality level, brings about a peace within us. That's what is the idea that world brings about with the help of yoga. So more than ever, anytime, today is the time when we really require the whole message of yoga to the world. And I'm glad that UNO has taken up this mission and declared that International Day of Yoga. And then all our various institutions, Indian institutions all over the world, like the Nehru Center, they're bringing about this International Day of Yoga to the world. We are taking this forward. Another very important thing is yoga is not just only for young people. At one point of time, when the world started taking yoga from the masters in India, what they have picked up is the beautiful asanas, wonderful contortions, portions and all those things. That went around the world as a part of yoga. But look at the way that yoga and the philosophy, they are inseparable. That's why we have the text of Bhagavad Gita. Every chapter is a yoga, but the message there you get is the message of philosophy. So they are inseparable. But unfortunately, people have taken to yoga. Earlier days, they have taken the yoga as a physical practice. but they did not carry the message of philosophy with them. And at the same time, there are people who carried the message of philosophy, but they separated yoga, saying that it belongs to yogis, it does not belong to us. So our message today is supposed to be where we take both these things together. Then what happens is that not only when you are young, when your body is very physically fit and you can do all kinds of postures, but as we have grown further, there are further deeper practices at various personality level. Asana is also yoga, but at the same time, kriyas, bandhas, these are all the practices of yoga at the body level. Similarly, at the prana level, there are pranas, there are mudras. These are all the things which are at the prana level. Pranayama practices, they're all there. A number of practices are there. Similarly, umpteen number of meditation practices, suggestions are there, deep at the mind level. Intellect level, we have the wonderful jnana yoga, and emotion level, we have bhakti yoga. All these different streams of yoga are available in the culture that is there. And another thing is, though these things started so far back, thousands of years ago, but they are still vibrant. You can find in the society, all these things are there. So it's approaching yoga from all this total personality level, not just only body level, is what is called as the integrated approach of yoga or the holistic approach of yoga. That's what we require the message for the world today. Then what happens is that when a young person is there, he can do all kinds of contortions, portions, this and that and all that. But as he grows up, slowly he picks up the practices of pranayama, picks up respiration problems, respiration practices, and further he can go towards meditation and ultimately deep inside at the bliss level that he can be. This is what is the way that the journey of yoga takes us from gross to subtle, outer to inner, from the way that in the world outside to the deep inside. That is the way basically when we are young, we require more of asanas, more of practice of pranayama, more of practice of various postures. But as we have grown deeper and deeper, what we require is more subtler practices, practice of prana, practice of meditation, or practice of small joint activities. Today, when a person becomes older and older, you can see these are the issues that he comes across at the body level. Joints need to be active, and then basically that he is able to take the breathing much better because of sedentary habits, growth of all these things that are there in the gadgets that we have. We lost the physical activity aspect of it. We don't do anymore that kind of an activity which used to do it. Therefore, what happened is that the lungs do not function fully. And we have various ideas of meditation techniques to see that how you can control, you can manipulate, you can manage, or you can transcend the mind. In fact, this is what the Upanishad suggests us, saying that the practice of yoga has to give us such a way that you are able to leave the Annamaya Kosha behind and go to deeper level, Pranamaya Kosha. Annamayam Atmanam Upasankramati. And then the practice of pranayama should give you such a practice that you are able to free yourself from pranamaya attachment and then go beyond that. Pranamayam Atmanam, I am that pranam, Upasankramati. I transcend that. Similarly, help of meditation will give you transcending the idea that we are the mind. Manomayam Atmanam Upasankramati. Like that Vijnanamayam Atmanam Upasankramati. Then what happens is we are one with the blissful personality. And that one blissful personality that we are, if we establish it, that's what is basically the idea. Finally, yoga, Jivatma merges into Paramatma. Therefore, basically people who take to yoga in our culture, we always used to give them the name called as Ananda, Vivekananda, Nityananda, Dayananda, Shuddhananda, Satyananda. You know, why their names are associated with Ananda? That means basically they realized, they understood, they accepted their very nature is Ananda, or the blissful nature. They have a smile on their face. Look at their face. The face is so relaxed. So therefore that becomes a way of life for them. Whatever that becomes a natural way of life, it is for us to imitate. We try to follow that. So therefore, these are the things that we require as we have grown, as we have deepened our practices inside. And the moment that you are having a harmony within, that's what is the harmony you give it to the world outside. The moment we have the health within, we give the same thing to the world outside. Now, how to get into that state of yoga? Yoga Vasishtha also gives, Patanjali also gives, and also Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also gives. There are essentially two ways by which you go back to that, our own nature. One way we go back to our nature is by disciplining ourselves. And second thing is by non-attachment. These are the two important tools. Patanjali also gives that Abhyasa and Vairagya. Abhyasa is the method of discipline. Vairagya is a method of non-attachment, by which that you can grow towards your inner self, blissful state. When we say discipline, a lot of time people, when they think of discipline, immediately one question comes up. That discipline is thrusted from outside. But whereas the way that Indian philosophy puts it, yoga philosophy puts it, nobody outside is thrusting discipline on you. Discipline has to come from within. You have to own the discipline. When the discipline is thrusted from outside, that means to say you are disciplining yourself for the sake of somebody else that is there outside. That discipline does not bring about a necessary change within you. It can only become a cosmetic change. And we are ever waiting for when do I come out of discipline? For the simple reason is that we think that the discipline is not somebody else is giving you discipline. It's not coming from within you. When the discipline does not come from within you, it's like the way that you take a flower and put it in the flower vase in your house. It does not have the roots. It is just there like that. Whereas when the discipline coming from within, it is like a plant which is there in the soil. And then the plant knows to send the roots into the soil and then creates a nice, wonderful flowers outside. And that's a living flower. When the discipline comes from within, you are like a flower that has blossomed in the soil. So this is how that we grow. The whole personality grows in that sense that you are in touch with the soil, you are in touch with the ground, and you are lively. That liveliness is something which is very important. When the discipline is thrusted from outside, you don't have that liveliness. So let us bring about this discipline within. And second thing is the idea of non-attachment. Vairagya, people think giving up and going away. No, Vairagya is so much internal. It is mental. Earlier, I used to take the things very seriously, but now as we have grown up, from the adolescence to adult and then old age, you see what all the things that are there, I still interact with them. I'm very happy with them, all those things. But I don't involve in that to see that I bring about a change. Younger generation is there, they take care of it. I just sit back and relax and then enjoy the whole thing. This is what is Vairagya. There's a higher force which is guiding everything, and then you take the support of the higher force. This surrender to the higher force is what is the way that Vairagya is practiced. So therefore, when you practice Vairagya, you are like in the chauffeur-driven car. The driver is driving and you are sitting peacefully, enjoying the whole scene around. Enjoy your scene in the world around. That's what is the idea of Vairagya. But I see so many people that they'll be sitting in the passenger seat in the car and then somebody else is driving. But then you take the whole burden of driving on yourself. When somebody comes in the way that you put your foot hard on the floor, there is no brake there. It is somebody else who has to do it. Similarly, when the car has to take a turn, you turn, though you don't have any steering within you. Sit down comfortably, relax. There are world that is taken care of. Therefore, this way of being in the world, yet at the same time, relaxed, and whatever that is there that you are supposed to do it, recognize that. And what is not in your cup of tea, then don't even go for that. This the way understanding and this the way that you surrender. That's what is the idea of Vairagya. So we have essentially a discipline, specific practices we do. That's what is Raja Yoga. The asana, pranayama, all these things belong to Raja Yoga. But in general activity, when we bring about the idea of attitude of yoga, where you are just allowing the things to happen, that's what is Karma Yoga. Similarly, under the method of non-attachment, let go, and intellectually you try to convince yourself that like you don't have to involve, things are working it out. And that's what is Jnana Yoga. And you can use emotions to let go, to surrender. That's what is Bhakti Yoga. So all these 4 streams of yoga, Raj Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, belong to these 2 methods of practice. One is called as Raji, one is Abhyasa, and the other is the Vairagya. Now, all these 4 streams of yoga, Swami Vivekananda, when he came to the West 100 years ago, he gave talks. He gave talks in London, he gave talks in New York and other places in USA. Got this message of 4 different type streams of yoga to the world. Unfortunately, what happened, whatever that he said, later people did not carry the same message. Therefore, people who carried yoga carried in the form of physical exercise. So now it has come, time has come to see that we give the holistic approach of yoga, the whole practice of yoga. Because basically when you look at your health and all those things, scientists today found out that your sickness does not just belong to the body. Only thing is symptoms are at the body level. But basically that the problem, root cause may be deep inside, at your emotion level, at your intellect level. It may be at a much subtler level of your life energy inside. If you do not bring about the correction deep inside at the life energy level, and you try to work only at the body level, that's what it says, that such an amount of work that you do it, however much that you correct it outside level, it will not get correction completely. It will repeat again and again. Once the treatment is stopped, that you come back. That's how people have become immune to medicine these days. Allergic medicine, they keep taking and taking and taking. But then after some time, once they give up that medication, again allergy kicks in. Why it happens? Because the root cause is somewhere deep inside. The yoga is a technique which can really go deep into your system. It's not just only at the body level. You also do pranayama, you also do meditation. Various practices at that level, then correction will definitely bring about the necessary change in you. This is the extraordinary piece of research in yoga, in Vivekananda Yoga Research Foundation, and also Yoga Vasishtha, Yoga Bharati. Excuse me. We are doing that to show that the man is a holistic being. Man is a personality at various personality level. So therefore, we need to apply yoga also at various personality level, not only at the body, but at the prana, at the mind, and deep inside. Once we do that, we get the necessary benefits at all these personality level. And once we do that kind of a practice of yoga, then you are in this world, you involve in this world as anybody else involves, but at the same time, that the world does not disturb you, world does not disturb your state of being. In fact, basically, that's why for the people, earlier people thought that a yogi is somebody who gives up this world and goes away to the forest to do the practice. That was what my father and all that carried when I was a small young child. And I said I wanted to go for philosophy. They were afraid of that. But then slowly time has come that yoga, you can be much more efficient being in this world. And you belong to this world here. Your perception, your awareness, everything is much better if you are doing practices of yoga in the day-to-day life, being in this world. There is another very important aspect that yoga can bring about. You should understand, that is, there is one more concept that is there in Indian yoga philosophy, is that's what is the degree of awareness, prajna. If you look at yourself, any activity that you are doing, your awareness is hardly 5 to 10%, not more than that. You may be driving the car, but mind is going around thinking of 100 other things. And then the senses function themselves, and then very mechanically, robotic way that you drive the car and reach the destination. You don't even think that what you are doing. Where you are going also you don't think, because it's a robotic way that you are doing. A medical doctor in USA, she came running home because that she's so busy, and then said, Raghuram, let's go. We'll go for yoga center. She made me to sit in the car. And then she said to me that I can get time to talk to you only when I'm sitting in the car. So anyway, car I'm driving, and then I will take to the yoga center. And then while sitting in the car, then she started talking to me. She started talking about all her family, this and that, all kinds of things. For half an hour she drove, and after that suddenly she stopped the car and said, Raghuram, where have we come? I said, it's your city, your place, you are driving, and you want to take me to the yoga center, and you are asking me? I looked through the window, I saw that it is her office, which is totally 180 degrees opposite to the yoga center. And then she asked me, why did we come here? I said, no, you are driving, you should tell me, why did you drive me here? We are supposed to go to the yoga center. She said, I did not drive, the car drove me here. See how much robotic that we are. It's not that we drive the car drives us. We don't do it. How many times I see housewives that they take out the salt and put it in the cooking and then turn around, put the salt bottle back and then start thinking, did I put the salt or not? See, that means that whole activity of putting the salt has happened without any awareness. Like that, when you look at it, sometimes you really scared because in normal course of activity that your awareness is less than 5 to 6%. Mind is wandering here and there. And that is there, basically we require yoga today. Essentially, when you are doing yoga, the yoga teacher will say that stretch the hands, and while stretching the hands, inhale. Now, who has to do the inhalation? You have to do it. Your awareness should be there. Similarly, take a deep breath and say, oh, who has to do it? You have to do it. While doing the relaxing postures, lying down in the Shavasana, when the teacher gives you instructions, relax the calf muscle, relax the thigh muscle. The teacher cannot do anything more than just suggesting you. But who has to do it? You have to do it. So in the practice of yoga, your involvement is almost like 70 to 80% of awareness. And in the normal course of time, 7 to 8% of awareness. So therefore, even if you practice 1 hour yoga, 1 hour practice of pranayama, all these things that you do it, the regular time, normal time, your awareness jumps in almost like to 20 to 30%, which is a very, very great gain. Today, the amount of crime, emotional disturbances, all these things are because people don't have the awareness. That's why people say, even in the simple domestic fights that are going on, say that I hit you. I did not want to hit you, but you know, anger made me to hit you. You provoked my anger, therefore I hit you. That means you became a slave to the anger. You're such an extraordinary, wonderful person. You are a consciousness. And anger is such a cheap thing. And then you become a slave to anger. You became slave to your own jealousy. You became slave to your own disturbances that are there inside. Mastery over these things is what is called as the freedom. Real freedom is not the freedom from the outside. Freedom is from the forces that are there inside. And once you have forces of this, freedom from the forces of these things inside, no anger outside is going to disturb you. No jealousy is going to take you out of the balance, and no depression will come to you because of the situation outside. You are free from all those things. Therefore, today for all these mental problems that are there, yoga is a wonderful solution. In fact, with this COVID that we have, this lockdown situation, people are contained at home. And when they are contained at home, boredom, restlessness, and fights that are there because that they can't have the tolerance, all those things have increased. Why? This is a wonderful opportunity to be with yourself, to practice yoga during this lockdown period. It's a great gift that we are engaging ourselves in the lockdown period in the form of yoga. So this yoga this year, particularly Yoga International Yoga Day, is for the dedicated to this COVID practices, so that what happens is that you develop your inner awareness, you have better control, mastery over yourself. Think of a yogi sitting in Himalayas all alone in the cave and doing the practice of meditation, all that. Does he not get bored? He doesn't get bored. He doesn't have anybody to engage himself. He's all alone. So you are befriending yourself with the help of yoga. You become a personality where you like yourself. And so much of exploration can take place, so much of inner development can take place with the help of yoga. So therefore, basically, that yoga is much more important for the people who are elderly persons. And in this condition that when they're all alone, they don't have to go outside, they are on themselves, and there is so much of literature, so much of knowledge about yoga. All that what you need to do is just go to the internet and see that there are several meditation practices, several bhajans, several ideas of jnana yoga. Several saints have given several ways and directions. When we take up these things, yoga becomes our way of life, and yoga becomes a healthy way of life. So I always say to the people that yoga taught us to see that we can be for ourselves. Today only somebody was saying that this COVID taught me to cook wonderful food. You see, it's a nice way that you can enjoy your practice of being isolation. And like that, we can be with ourselves. Extra eating that used to go on outside indiscriminately, all that stopped because that we are at home. So a yoga way of life is developed. Yoga is not, it might start on the mat with the form of few postures, but come out of the mat as a yogi to see that yoga is a way of life. So starting on the mat, spreading it to the world around, that's what is the way that you can bring about yoga. I wish that this practice of yoga for these days when we are compulsorily drawn into being at home, if it is something which is taken care of, probably that after coming out of all the lockdown situation, when the aggression of COVID comes down, we have a better world, more yogic encompassed world. That is what we could create. So wish you all the very best on this particular occasion, International Day of Yoga. Bring in a internal change within you. Let the discipline come from within, not come from outside. When it is said that the discipline is coming from within, a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, a bud becomes a flower. When the discipline comes, yoga discipline comes from within, it's like the way a raw fruit becoming ripe. And a raw fruit becomes ripe, you can see it has such wonderful, pleasant colors, a nice aroma. More important thing is, it gives extraordinary, wonderful taste. So therefore, when the discipline comes from within, you are filled with that taste, you are filled with that nice, wonderful colors, and the life becomes better. And then you, like the way that the bees and insects come to that ripe fruit, the whole world comes to you in a positive sense. Let us create a better world with the help of yoga. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your, remarkable, what I should say, I would not say speech, the thoughtful, message to the people. And we are really delighted to have you at this platform. In my perspectives, whatever I have learned about yoga, it is known that from Indian perspectives, yoga is an ultimate tool to attain your goal, and that you could really reach your consciousness.
Right.
And you have very much, included some of the important tool in your speech. You have included all festivals like Holi, Diwali, Christianity and others. And you have also mentioned that yoga should be celebrated as a festival. And in that direction, government has really taken this wonderful initiatives, because United Nations has already accepted 21st June Day of Yoga, International Day of Yoga. This is a matter of pride. And this yoga has been accepted by more than 178 countries. So this is another, leading path for the entire world, that yoga should be really taken as a holistic approach. And this is irrespective to caste, creed, culture, religions, we should keep aside all these. And I'm sure, because I am firmly believing, because I am experiencing some of the asanas only, not everywhere, few asanas, and they really have changed my life. I have really, you mentioned this peace, harmony and health. These are very simple words, but we take these words very lightly and we never connected. You have just, mentioned one of the beautiful word, awareness. Yes. And given the example when you are driving the car, most of the time, 90% people, while we go to the aim, never give focus to that particular, speech, talk, work, anything. We always engaged ourselves in multiple kind of activities altogether, and that really destroy the goal. So these are very simple techniques and, areas where we need to focus. And whatever age we are attaining, but really we are disturbed people. We have really lost our ways of living. And that is why I feel that this, physical, mental and spiritual power that we should attain have really, we have lost the entire world. Yoga is a project, positive well-being, holistic approach, you have rightly mentioned. And you have mentioned beautiful things in your speech. Talked about Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. all this would be attained by Abhyasa. And Vivekanandri has rightly said, you know, we have a wonderful treasurer, and we never given this focus that otherwise this all your peace that we are trying to attain through the cross boundaries, we are, you know, fighting to each other, entire world is connected to it. And nature is nature. You cannot destroy the earth. You know, after all, it has to come again. The world is to be revived. So relax, calm, peace, and that through which we really could attain a positive energy, you know, passion and intelligence. These are the integral part. Thank you very much for your beautiful, you know, message to the people. And I would like to once again thank you, all my colleagues who have joined Nehru Center platform. And on behalf of the Nehru Center High Commission of India, I would like to pay my sincere thanks. Raghuram sir, namaskar. And I also would like to, you know, recommend all the associations, like it is a backbone. I would like to pay my thanks for this contribution. The backbone, Mr. Charanjit Singh, Acting High Commissioner, Manmeet Singh Narang is the Minister Coordination, Miss Yamuna, also Councillor Ted, and Charanjit, of course, the Mr. Chaurasia, Second Secretary, Head of Chancery, and of course, Mr. Amish Tripathi, Director, the Nehru Center. If you have any question, I really would be delighted to share with Mr. N.V. Raghuram. That will be our pleasure. I hope Ms. Krishna Pujara has done, sent a message. Thank you very much, Raghuramji, and for your lovely talk. We have excellent, there is Mr. Dr. Daisy Reddy, has given a, you know, beautiful message to us and said thank you to Raghuramji. And one of my Anurag Banaji also said wonderful talk. Thank you so much, Nehru Center, best wishes. Thank you very much, sir, for your compliments. Deva Helles also said thank you very much, interesting session. And once more again, I would like to say my special thanks to N.V. Raghuram sir. Sir, we would be delighted to have one more session in the near future, because we are very much connected to S. Vyasa, and your outstanding contribution as seen by the profile is really remarkable to the a contribution to the society, to the people of India, and to the people of world. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
I wanted to say one thing, sir, that because now with all this facilities of going through this internet and all those things, it brought us so close together.
Close together, yes.
So though I may be in Bangalore today, look at the way that I'm in London actually.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. I hope people, my participants must have enjoyed this talk. We are receiving a lot of messages. I really would be delighted to share with you, sir. And in any, you know,
invite me,
questions, we would be delighted. We take some time, Professor Raghuram, he would be able to answer through, you know, this now internet facilities are there, emails are there, social media platform there. You can directly contact Mr. Raghuram. I would be sharing his coordinates. And thank you so much once again. Namaskar. Namaskar. Namaskar.